Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to A.O.S. Abroad. Thank you very, very much for joining today's episode. Really do appreciate everyone for joining A.O.S. Abroad's discussion on trending topics, breaking news, and some good news, basically. Yeah, today we have some very important updates for Canada immigration, and we want to discuss about them in relation to the Quebec selection or skilled worker selection program. You understand the Quebec PSTQ. PSTQ. Now, we are going to talk about it extensively because we have been waiting for this draw from December last year. So just this year, just the 27th of July 2025, there was a draw that actually invited some permanent resident applicants. So today we are going to be talking about these draws, how they selected them, the criteria they used, how the candidates got eligible for those selections, and what you that have not gotten selected, what you can do to actually benefit from this new or revised program, because it's a revised program. So we'll talk about it so that you really understand what it is. So today we are going to be discussing making use of the CICNews.com website, and we'll be discussing about the article that writes Quebec issues first invitations under the skilled worker selection program. You understand? Quebec issues first, the very first set of invitations, you understand, under the skilled worker selection program. So, what is the skilled worker selection program? You may ask me, what is it all about? How can you get selected through that program? So, we are going to be answering all these questions through the use of Janice Rodriguez article, which was published July 27, 2025. And in this article, on July 17, actually, the Quebec issued its first invitations under the new skilled worker selection program. And for those of you that know how Quebec actually operates, even if they select now, you may not see it until after some time. So the invitations, however, targeted individuals already living in Canada, specifically those already living in Quebec. And that is why I do always tell people, sometimes some programs will not favor you by virtue of the location you are. It's not your fault. I remember when I was working on my own immigration, there were a lot of times they would invite people and I would not be selected. I remember Prince Edward Island. In fact, I had, is it like 67 points? And they picked people that had 66 points, if I remember. So I had even 1 point above those that they selected. But because of my location, because of my occupation, because I was not part of those that they required at that particular time, they didn't select me, right? So instead of vexing, instead of, you understand, not being positive about immigration, instead of thinking that, oh, these people didn't mean well for me, rather what I just did was I focused on programs that do not necessarily need me to be in Canada. I focused on programs that do not necessarily mean I have to actually leave my own field of study or my own expertise and go and do what I don't want to do. You understand? Because many people, as at that time, were always going to nonsense. People were becoming caregivers. People were becoming, and me, I know how to do nothing because I know if I'm a nurse or a caregiver, I can beat patients. I know that I don't have that patience. You understand? I don't have that patience. It's someone that has the patience that can stay with a patient. You understand? If you don't have the patience and you say you want to become a nurse or you want to be a caregiver, it's as if they are forcing me. I mean, they are forcing someone. And me, I don't want them to force me to do anything. So even if what we are trying to say is you're doing is laughing, it's true. Even if you feel that, oh, one particular program didn't work for you, or one particular program they have picked people that you didn't get to benefit from it. Don't despair. You understand? Don't think that it is over for you. Rather, just re-strategize and look for other programs that you can actually get selected to. Because this particular program we're talking about today, as they said in the article, they said it's centered on selecting those that are already living in Quebec with a focus on those who speak French. Some people always think it's only French people that are in Quebec. No, it's a lie. There are some people that are in Quebec but do not speak French. There are some people that, in fact, ta 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 is what they can hear. Bonjour, bonjour, bonsoir, bonsoir. That's all. That's all. They cannot speak French more than that. They are not like us. That okay, even though we are not even in Quebec. If I go to Quebec today, just like I remember when I went to Ottawa to work on my passport last year, you understand? I went to Ottawa and I was speaking French with those that I met in the subway, those that I met in the, you understand, restaurants and places like that. But it's not compulsory basically for you to speak French in Quebec. That's what we're trying to say. But Quebec focused on selecting those who speak French and who are currently living in Quebec. They also selected those that have work experience or educational credentials from within the province. Now that's another big issue because, in fact, one eligibility criteria has already removed some people, especially people that maybe, for instance, they are not currently in Canada. It has removed them, or maybe people that are even in Canada but are not in that particular province. Basically, they themselves are not even eligible. Now they are not even saying you have to speak French. One, two, they are not even saying you have to have work experience or educational credentials from that province. Though it's not compulsory for you to have everything. You may have just education, you understand. You may not have work experience. You may have just, you understand, French knowledge and be living in Canada, in Quebec, but not have educational credentials. It is all. They didn't say and. If they say and, in fact, they would pick me not more than two. Though some people maybe many do. So basically, they said those that had credentials, educational credentials from within the province of Quebec, those that had work experience from within the province of Quebec, and those who are employed in occupations that help address Quebec's labor shortages. Now, this is very important. This is one of the things again that can disqualify people. Because yes, you may be in Quebec, yes, you may have some educational credentials, yes, you may speak French, but the occupation you are currently working in may not be favorable in the sense that it may not be an occupation that is in demand in Quebec. It may not be an occupation that they require those that would fill in the labor shortages. So as a result of that, even though you are there physically, even though you have educational credentials, even though you can speak French, you may not be selected in that province. These are facts that may be kind of shocking, but that is what it is. You understand? Now, for the round, this first particular round of invitations, the province of Quebec targeted two of the program's streams. Just two of the programs. You know, the streams, if you remember when we were talking about it in one of our live sessions, we said the streams, the program has four streams. You understand? It has four streams. But out of those four streams, only two were part of those that they selected in this particular draw or in this particular set of invitations. And what are those streams? The first stream is the highly qualified and specialized skills. What does the highly qualified and specialized skills entail? We're going to talk about it. But the other stream that it focused on is the stream 4 for those that are the exceptional talents. You know, we talked about those that are licenses or licentials. We'll talk about them, but I was just giving you the two. The first one, remember, highly qualified and specialized skills. One number two, which is the stream 4, those with exceptional talent. Now let's talk about the stream 1 in detail. Who were the people or the candidates that is selected under the stream 1 for highly qualified and specialized skills? Let's read it. They said on July 17, the Minister of Immigration, Francization and Integration invited 216 people to apply for permanent selection under this stream of the PSTQ. Now that's a very low draw. 216 people is not much. It's not much compared to the thousands of people that the federal government are actually inviting. And that's why sometimes I do always tell people, instead of focusing on some of these programs, it may be wise of you to focus on federal government jobs. But again, don't just focus on one and neglect the other, because you never know at the end of the day which one will select you. So you can focus on one, create a profile on one, and also create profiles on multiple other programs, so that at least if the one that you're thinking of doesn't select you, the one that you did not think of may select you. You understand? Though in my own time, I remember when I was working on my own immigration, Ontario was the province that I was really looking up for to select me. And at the end of the day, thank God, they were the one that selected me. Yes, sir. But Quebec, even though I didn't even think so much of Quebec, yes, sir, even though, yes, I was not really flabbergasted about the province, yes, sir, when I was doing my research, I was not really, yes, sir, it was giving me an ancient vibe. It was not giving me modern vibes. For those that are in Quebec, you understand that it's more of an ancient city. So, but basically, even though I didn't think much of the province, I still created a profile of the province that, oh, even if I did not like it, if they pick me, should be not to enter Canada. I go carry my bag, they go there, never consign me. You understand? So I applied this. And funny enough, Quebec also selected me during my own time. So that's why I tell people, don't just focus on, oh, it's Manitoba I want to go, and it's only Manitoba I'll create profile in. No, you may be shortlisting yourself. Rather, create profiles on two, three different platforms, three different provinces, or two, three different programs, so that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you understand? So let's move on. Is that to qualify for this July 17 Stream 1 selection, candidates needed to meet the following criteria. Number one, they need to have a score of at least 768 points. My brother, that is so much to actually achieve. Because even the previous selection program, how many points did I have at that time? It's like 500 or something. To now have 700 or more, it's possible. It's not that it's not possible. You have to have a lot of things. Number two, they say you have to be living in Quebec. So you have to be there physically. You have to be, you understand, be a lawful resident of Quebec. Number three, you need to have a Quebec university, college, or secondary vocational level diploma. Hmm. Let me take it again. They said your score had to be up to 768 points. You need to be living in Quebec, and you need to have that diploma. The diploma from a Quebec university or college or secondary vocational level diploma. And many people, I remember there are some of our friends that went to Quebec and they don't have their diplomas. You understand? Some just got into Quebec by virtue of their spouse. You understand? Maybe through open work permit, and they didn't study there. But for this particular one, they needed you to have a diploma. Now, they said for a secondary vocational or college program, the program must be at least 900 hours long. Now, this is very important too, because again, some people will just go to schools. Yes, they collected certificates. Yes, they paid tens of thousands of dollars to be in that school. But at the end of the day, that school will not benefit them when they are pursuing their permanent residence. It does happen. It does happen. And I've seen some people in Canada, especially in Ontario, where I am currently, that they finish school after going to college for a year, or some people 2 years. Some people even combine colleges. Or some people get mind and they get money. Some people combine colleges. That okay, I came, studied 1 year course, but they say, oh no, I need, in order to get 3 year postgraduate work permit. That's one of the reasons some people always justify that move. In order to get 3 years postgraduate work permit, I need to actually have 2 years worth of program. So they would finish in one school, now go to another school and study another course. Some people will get two diplomas, some people will get two postgraduate diplomas. And I'm not saying it's really wrong to get those things. In fact, it's okay. But why will you get it and You are not focused on the future, you are just focused on the present. You are just focused on, oh, let me get PGWP. And you not focus on will this, because at the end of the day, PGWP too will expire. It will expire because it's 3 years validity. It's only permanent residents that would allow you to stay in the country permanently. So why would you actually work on the thing that will give you rest of mind, so that you, that same thing that you were pursuing, or that same thing that you say, okay, I finished one program, let me go and be doing another program in order to stay here for more time. Why don't you just focus on a program that will give you that assurance that, okay, when you finish, you'll be able to use it for permanent residency? So some people like this, even though they went to secondary vocational program, they did college program, if it is not up to 900 hours long, they will not have the opportunity to use it for what? For this program. And the program, as they said, must include at least 30 credits. 30 credits. Some people may not have 30, maybe 28, maybe 25. And Oyinbo will not say, okay, I just two now. Just 2 credits that you made. Let's give you. They have given you rules and guidelines, eligibility criteria. If you don't meet it, you don't meet it. There's no, oh, should be just 29.5 credits that I have. I said that 0.5, Oyinbo will hold you like this, that go and get that 0.5. If you can't get it, then you don't qualify. It's very simple. So candidates also have to meet all of the other criteria to be eligible under this stream. And what does this criteria include? One, they need to include having an occupation in training, education, experience, and responsibility fear category 0, 1, or 2. That's another thing. Especially those like my people, as I've said, and they will come to a country like this. Well, some people don't have choice, so I can't blame them. But some people will say, no, it's caregiver that is gaining. And caregiver doesn't fall under category 0, 1, or 2 occupations. It doesn't fall under it. So they will do caregiver for 1 year, 2 years, being in Canada. But at the end of the day, when they want to get their PR, because they didn't do they didn't work in an occupation that required what? That required their intellect, their diploma, what they studied, or you understand what they know from back home, they will still not have the opportunity to do PR. I understand that it may not be easy to get those jobs, but be futuristic. Think of the future. Don't just be short-sighted, basically. So that if one doesn't work, look for another thing that would work, right? Now, 2, for those candidates to be selected, they needed to have acquired at least 12 months of work experience in the last 5 years in their primary occupation. So if you are doing the occupation here in Canada, you need to have worked 12 months of work experience. Some people would work part-time, but it will not be up to one year. Then you don't qualify. Some people will do part-time, and if it is not up to the 1 year equivalent of part-time, you don't qualify. That's 24 months. You don't qualify. So another thing is not planning to practice a regulated profession. For those in this stream, you must not be planning to work in a regulated profession like doctor, like lawyer, like, you understand, immigration consultant, things like that. It has to be an occupation that is not regulated in Canada. And of course, you need to demonstrate level 7 or higher in oral comprehension. What is oral comprehension proficiency? That is expression orale and comprehension orale. That's speaking and listening. And level 5 or higher in written competencies according to the échelle québécoise des niveaux de compétences en français. So according to the Quebec's scale of French proficiency levels for adult immigrants. So basically what they mean is that in the written comprehension, which is the compréhension écrite et expression écrite, which is the reading and writing, you need to have level 5 or the equivalence of that. Now, again, it is not only you. If you are coming with your spouse, you are coming with your family, your spouse, the spouse of those candidates, if applicable, need to have knowledge of French of level 4 or higher. In the two oral competencies according to the échelle québécoise des niveaux de compétence en français or its equivalent. So what they mean is that if you are coming with your spouse, you are coming with common law partner, or you are coming with wife or husband, that person has to also have to learn French and have level 4 or higher in his or her French. So it is not like before that just one spouse or one partner can actually help the family. No, if you are coming as a family, the two of you have to be involved in your French knowledge. Now that's for the stream one. For those that got selected through the stream one, congratulations to the over 200 people that got selected. For the stream four, which is the exceptional talent, on July 17 as well, the Minister of Immigration, Francization and Integration invited 22 people. You know, I was talking about two people before I even saw this one. 22 people to apply for permanent residence. These are people that are highly qualified, people that are what that would require licenses to practice. These candidates needed to have a postgraduate diploma. When they say postgraduate diploma, a doctorate to be scheduled or to be selected in this job. So they had to almost also meet other eligibility criteria for this stream, including the following. Number one, they had to be holding at least one of the following documents. Number one, a positive opinion rendered by a minister partner in a targeted field. That means they have to have a kind of support from a partner or a minister partner in that particular field, maybe like as a physician, as a doctor, as a lawyer. You understand, people in that line. Now, also, if they don't have that, if they don't have that positive opinion, they need to have a document proving an achievement listed in the Ministry of Immigration's list of exceptional accomplishments, PDF, for applicants under Stream 4. So there is a PDF where there are lists of the achievements you should have achieved in your life, in your profession, basically, before they can be able to see you as someone that they need in that particular province through that particular stream. This one, I remember we did not have, we were not necessitated to actually have many of this. So most people that I knew that they said they needed to have these are people that were coming under self-employed or people that were coming under business before. But now it's not only business immigration. Now even skilled workers, they're asking for it. So you need to have a lot to fall into this stream for. Also, you needed to have work experience in the primary occupation for at least 3 out of the last 5 years. So 3 out of the last 5 years, maybe like from 2020 down to 2025, you need to have 3 years of work experience in that field. Now, about the skilled worker selection stream or the skilled worker selection program, the PSTQ. The skilled worker selection program, formerly known as the regular skilled worker program, is an immigration pathway to permanent residence. And they said the PSTQ, as I told you before, it replaced what? It replaced the what? It replaced the regular skilled immigration worker program in 2024, the year 2024, but has been on hold ever since. They have not invited anybody since, as I said, December 2024. So no invitations have been issued up until this month of July. Imagine, they closed it December last year. They just opened it July this year. So about 6-7 months have gone before they opened it. Now, those wishing, that's where I'm coming to, those wishing to immigrate through the PSTQ, you have to meet the certain eligibility requirements. If you want to come into Canada, you want to live in Quebec, you want to come into Canada, you want to have the opportunity to migrate to the province of Quebec, you need to fall under the following criteria. Number one, be within the ages of 18 years or older. So the beauty of this program is that it's not like express entry, that When you're already clocking 45, in fact, it's now more difficult for you to actually enter through it. Yeah, they said 18 years or older. So whether you are 50 plus, you are 60 plus, you are 70, do you shall have the other eligibility criteria? If you have, they can select you that you are Ugbo. They will select you before they select other people because you have what other people don't have. Number two, from the apart from the age, is that you need to plan to settle in Quebec for employment. You need to have it in the back of your mind that, oh, when you come to the province of Quebec, oh, you will stay back in Quebec and work there. And how will you work? You need to decide that you would work in a company, or you work in a company that you don't have control over, either directly or indirectly. So basically, what they are saying is that you cannot be self-employed, or what they are saying is that you cannot be an entrepreneur for this kind of stream. Two, it has to be a job that you are doing that is not part of the ineligible what industry. So, for instance, if hypothetically, maybe it's transportation, maybe you are a truck driver or caregiver, like many of the things that we were talking about before, and your expertise is not needed in Quebec right now because they didn't put it in part of the in-demand jobs. You may be even in the industry that is okay, but the occupation that you have is not in demand. So because of that, they will not pick you. You may be in an industry they don't even need. Industry that maybe massage industry and erotic industry is not in demand. They don't need that kind of thing in Quebec. So they may not pick you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, you also have to be able to perform the job that you intend to take up in Quebec. So, for instance, you cannot say you are an amputee. For example, they have cut off your leg. You understand? Maybe you had an accident and your leg has been cut off. And you now want to work in a factory where they will need you to be physically working. Or go and work as a doctor where you have to be going from one office to another. Well, yes, there are chairs, there are this and that, but things that you may not be able to do physically. Okay, I was even talking about physically. Mentally as well. Mentally. You say you want to work as a doctor, but you don't have certificates. You want to work as a doctor, you don't have years of experience studying and practicing in that line. Will they pick you? No, because they know that this one will just kill someone. This one, it will unalive people. So they will not pick you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you have to be able to perform that job you want to come and do in Canada. Now, for all the four PSTQ, for all the four Quebec Skilled Worker Selection Program streams, applicants must also, Mr. Doing is laughing. Yes. So we have to be careful. You have to be able to practice in that job. You have to be able to perform in that job. But apart from all those criteria I first mentioned, another criteria is that you need to meet the criteria that led to their invitation to apply for permanent residence or permanent selection. I've told you the instance of those that they selected under highly qualified skills. Those are people that needed college diploma in the province. Those are people that are currently living in the province. Those that have work experience in the province. Those that have that have set up their lives in the province. So if you are not part of those that you are looking for at that particular time for that particular stream, they will not pick you even if you were 18 plus years, you plan to stay in the province, you can do the job. If you are not if you are not in the province right now, they will not select you. Right? Number two, you need to sign a financial self-sufficiency contract, confirming the ability to support yourself and your family member if applicable, any accompanying family member for that matter, for the first 3 months after becoming a permanent resident in Quebec. So basically, this is the proof of funds that requires that you have sufficient fund and you are able to show it. And Quebec takes it a step further. You not just show it, but you also sign a contract to say that you are not going to be disturbing Quebec that just like some immigrants are known for. They will come to the Canada and say, they did not tell me, they did not tell me. But you know ask. They did not tell you, they did not tell you. You ask. They did not tell you, they did not tell you. Did you research it? And you did not see it. They did not tell you who begged you to come. That's why my friend, my Nigerian people will ask you, who begged you to come? They did not tell you, and you are still back in Canada. You not go back there. Oh, they did not tell you, because they did not tell you, let me leave the country. You are still in the country. You understand? Okay, let's that just aside. Another criteria is you need to obtain an attestation of learning of democratic and Quebec values as outlined in the Quebec Charter of Human Rights and Freedom. Now, I remember one of our clients last year. He's still working on his immigration right now, and I pray he actually gets his immigration sorted. But this is a particular person that, right from Nigeria, when he was working on his application, when they selected him around July or August last year, his Quebec application that he was working on, he was the only one, because I told you they just changed the program last December. But it was the only one that knew French. It was the only one that went to take the French exam, the TEF Canada, or is it the TCF Canada? It was the only one that took it. But he had a wife. As at then, his wife didn't need to show any language proficiency test. But even though the wife didn't need to show any language proficiency test, she still had to get this attestation of learning of democratic and Quebec values. The attestation is just like a test result too, because you have to take a test before you actually get the result. If you don't take the test, you won't get the result. And if you don't pass the test, you won't also get the result. Do you understand? So even if she was not a French person, she had to study for the what for the test to be able to get the attestation. And thank God she and her husband have taken it and passed. Now, and that is where we also come in. Just like this organization, they will give you free resources from the Quebec website, and we can also train you and also assist you to prepare for the attestation test so that you are well prepared, well grounded before you go and actually take the real test. Now, another thing is to respect any return obligations imposed by a scholarship in Quebec if applicable. You know some people, and that is why, for instance, let me be frank with you. Let me be very frank with you. Scholarships. There are some scholarships that I always run away from. I did dodge them like this because those scholarships they look enticing. And many of those scholarships, I've found out that there are scholarships that we most times give you the full payment of your tuition. Most times, not all times, but most times, when they give you the full tuition fee, even with extra, even with okay, they give you tuition fee, they give you living expenses, and you think you are balling. But in the clause of the contract that you signed, that you, even though you say you're a student, even though you say you're brilliant, you don't have sense to read the terms and conditions. Or let's say you even read it, but because you were so blinded by the fact that okay, me too, I want to japa, you just approve it because of course you are looking for free money now. But at the end of the day, nothing is entirely free. Nothing is what? Entirely free. Those scholarships that will give you, that will say, okay, come, all expense paid scholarship. They will give you all expense paid scholarship, of course. But at the end of the day, they will put one tiny clause. The place they even always put it is very tiny. They will put in one tiny clause over there. And they will say, okay, one of the obligations of the scholarships is once you have finished studying in his school, just like they did for one of my friends in the UK, he went with one popular scholarship. They paid for him his tuition fee, for his living expenses all through the. He didn't have to work, even though he worked in the campus. You understand, like volunteerism, but he didn't have to work. They were paying him every month, till he finished. They say after 1 year or 2 years, free money. But people don't always know that free. Thank God he actually knew. He told me about it. But at the end of the day, someone that they say he wants want to Japan, he got the scholarship. He went to study in UK. At the end of the day, when he was now rounding off his program, he was now trying to look for a way, call say, okay, this clause that I've signed, imagine you don't collect free money since. You say this clause that I've signed since 1 year or 2 years ago. How can I look for a way to not, you understand, abide by it? If you look for a way and not to abide by it, they will catch you. And if they don't catch you early, if they catch you later on, it may still affect you. especially your residency in that country. So he was in the UK, studied for free, tuition paid, free accommodation, free everything. But one of the obligations is that they said after the schooling, he has to go back to his home country and use what he learnt in the program to actually create positive change. Sometimes they always talk and say who will be politician. As if say who will be politician. You understand? Because at the end of the day, in a country that the politicians are not even ready for change, you are ready for change, but at the end of the day, you go make too. There are some icons that are in that place now that with all the change they want to do, change, like Showore, change. Peter Obi, change, everything change. But at the end of the day, what is happening in Nigeria now? I think you understand. It's Bala Blue that is there. Is it Bala Blue? No, it's not Bala Blue. What they call it? What they call that one? Someone should remind me of the name. Is it Bala Blue? Is it Bala Blue? I think it's Bala Blue. But what I'm trying to say in essence is when it comes to things, you have to understand the terms and conditions that is attached to what you are actually doing. So you need to respect if you were in Quebec with a scholarship, you need to respect the scholarship, respect the obligations, and go back to your own country. So for that, you may not benefit from the Quebec program. That's what they're trying to say. And of course, they said the attestation that you get for learning of democratic and Quebec values, it is required for all accompanying family members aged 18 or older. So just like I said, whether you are a spouse, you are a common law partner, you also have to take the, you understand, test and get the attestation. Now, those interested in immigrating to Quebec through this program we're talking about, you must also complete a declaration of interest in the Arima portal. And what is declaration of interest? That's just like the profile, the expression of entry of interest profile. So declarations that have been also completed before November 29, 2024, when the PSTQ came into effect, must be updated. So you have to update your declarations of interest if you have had it before November 29, 2024. Now, declarations of interest that are submitted are ranked according to the what? To the PSTQ scoring system. Because just like Express Entry, the PSTQ also has a scoring system. And those who obtain high scores and are able to meet the criteria that has been listed now may receive an invitation to apply for permanent selection under the A stream, under one of the four streams of the PSTQ, under the four streams of the Quebec Skilled Worker Selection Program. So with that, we come to the end of this article, this review. If you have any questions, kindly drop it on the comment section. Let's try to see if we can take one or two um, what they call it, one or two questions before we go. If you don't have any questions, don't forget that every week, at least once every week, we come on live to share views and to also answer questions as regards immigration to Canada, to Quebec, about language studies, exam preparation, career guide abroad, and even international business, how to set up international businesses in countries like Canada, just like I am currently doing, you understand, right now. So if you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. For those who are joining us on YouTube, on TikTok, on other channels, try to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us for more updates and for more, you understand, content like this. So if you want to receive and to be updated, to be notified anytime we are on live, try to follow us right now and subscribe to our channel so that anytime we come on live, you are going to be notified and you'll be able to join us, you understand, in the live session. So thank you very much, everyone. If you don't have any question, don't forget, if you have any, if you want to reach out to us personally, go on our bio, you understand, go on our profile and just click on the link there and you will be referred to us. You can have a clarity call with us, or you can also go on our website to learn about how you can also start your permanent residency process. So thank you very much, everyone, and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.